Hello, my name is Joe Canine, the Video Whisperer, and this is going to be a review on a pretty new and definitely very clever and innovative LED panel design called Flexlite. Particularly suitable for run-and-gun videographers, but really for anybody in the film and video business. Now, this is the third of my pure freaking magic reviews. The first two, as many of you know, were on cameras, the Sony HXR NX30, followed by the Sony PXW X70, which is what's shooting me right now. I should note that I only do reviews on things that I really like, and I only buy things that I really like. And what these three things have in common is they're all small, but they pack a lot of punch and pack a lot of technology. Perfect for the run-and-gunner who doesn't want to carry around a truckload of equipment. In fact, all of my stuff, all of it, 4 cameras, 3 different types of microphones, all their accessories, light stands, mic booms, bulbs, lights, extension cords, grip accessories, all of it fits in 2 cases, including my 2 new Flexlites, which are also lighting me right now. All right, anyway, let's cover quickly what you can expect to see in the review. Number 1, I'm going to show you the light and how it works. I'm going to show you its dimming range from about 10% to 100%. I'm going to show you the fact that throughout that range it maintains color temperature, unlike halogen bulbs. And I'm also going to do a direct comparison to a fluorescent light to show the, well, actually I'm going to try to determine what the f-stop difference is, how many more stops of light I get out of this, and a real-life production example, because I've used this now on 1 or 2. I think 2 different, 2 different production shoots. I'm going to show you the first one that I worked on. And with that, let me start showing you this stuff. Well, there it is, and as you can see, it's completely flexible. You could curl that up into a cylinder and wrap it with rubber bands and drop it into a Chinese lantern for overall illumination if you'd wanted to. And to put on a light stand, use this accessory, which gets assembled together very easily. And there's 2 places you can mount it, either there or on the side there. And what's really cool is you could put it on the end of a monopod or a selfie stick or something like that and give it to an assistant to carry around with a battery pack. Let's say you're doing man-on-the-street interviews or something like that. And the assistant could just hang it in front of you to provide facial fill. What I did is I took my existing softbox and put velcro inside of it, as you can see there, and then I took a hot pipe, a hot rod, and melted a hole through it. That's so the power point can come out of the lighting device. And there it is inside, and of course you can put your diffuser material on the outside of the softbox. And it comes with a dimmer, which will dim it from 10% power to 100% power, a long extension cable if you need it. And for safekeeping, I keep it in the plastic envelope it came in and slip it into a little file folder case. Then pop it in the top of my lighting bag. This is the corporate shoot that I did. Right now, I've got that little controller in my hand, and I'm setting the exposure by looking at the zebras on my viewfinder. I've just set the backlight. Looks good. The backlight was without a diffuser on it. It was on the other side of that glass window, and the key light was in a softbox with a diffuser on it. And now the interviewee has sat down while I tweak in the lighting and the frame for him. It was particularly handy to be able to sit there and dial in the exposure while looking at my viewfinder, setting it to the zebra pattern, and without having to get out of the chair 5 or 6 times moving the light. And I did use it on the monopod when I was going around the plant, because there was a few machines we had to be able to see inside of, and it was a little dark in there, so I just sort of fished the light in and illuminated the area. So I didn't have a battery pack. I am getting one. But still, with an extension cord, it was a perfect solution because, you know, the big flouro softbox, you can't really stick that anywhere. It's rather limited. Okay, a few points. The company that produces the light does have a prototype softbox that's made for the light. Should be available soon. I took a rather crappy picture of it at the Broadcast Video Expo. Number two, it can be battery powered like all LEDs. The distributor provides a clip-on V-lock, a V-lock base that can go on your belt and works with any V-lock battery. I'll have links to all this stuff on the blog, direct links to the V-lock, the battery, the whatever else, the light itself. And it's time to do an experiment. I'm not sure if this will work, but if it doesn't, it won't be in the video, but I think it will. What I'm going to do is stop here now, and I'm going to set the light to full intensity. I'm going to readjust the camera manually for correct exposure on the face. And it's really going to be a test to see if the color temperature, which I won't change, it's set to 56K right now, if it maintains at full intensity. Okay, here we go. Okay, as near as I can tell, that is the same exposure on my face. Now, the camera was set to f3.4. It's now an f4.4. I presume that's a stop difference or twice as bright. The next thing I'm going to do is, and by the way, this was a test to see if the color stayed the same. I won't know until I look back at this. But the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take that LED out and I'm going to put my fluoro light in without moving the light or changing anything else. I won't pay any attention to color temperature for this test. It's really just to see the direct comparison on brightness. Okay, that is my 105 watt fluoro bulb, as you can see. This is at the last setting the LED was on, which was at 4.4. And now let's see if we can get an exposure by opening it up. At 3.4. Yep. So that tells me that the LED is twice as bright, which is good news. Okay, let me put the LED back in there. All right, that should bring me back to where I was when I started. Now, I discovered this light at the Broadcast Video Expo in London a couple of months ago. I went there specifically to look at LED technology, and I got to tell you, it is advanced amazingly in the last few years. And it's clear to me in the next few years, the entire industry, both film and video, will be using LED technology, and the fluorescent and halogen will be a thing of the past. Most people are familiar with these panel type lights, but they also have Fresnel lights in LED. In other words, a focusable point source light like Hollywood's used for decades. With barn doors and flags and gobos, you can shape and control the light, and they have those in 1K versions, 1,000 watts, and 2K versions, and smaller. They had rather expensive but powerful panel lights that you could slip a set of lenses into its slot and change the angle of view from 120 degrees, which is probably what this one is, to 60 degrees, and put in another set of lenses and change it down to 30 degrees. One thing about the LEDs, and this is why I think I made brief mention to the Chinese ones earlier in the video. LED technology is very precise in terms of optics. Well, let's put it this way. The stuff that you can sell on this market has to be high quality. It's a little bit like fluorescent technology, where there are gases that are lit inside the LED somehow that produce the color spectrum. And typically, cheap LEDs will have a poor color spectrum response. It'll be spiky in the greens or the reds or something like that. I believe all of the ones that were on display at the expo were of the highest quality, including this one. So that is one thing to caution you against on buying a cheap Chinese import. It may or may not be high spec, but if there's any way to check it before buying it, you certainly should. Now, the reason I like this one, of course, is because, interestingly, it didn't follow the traditional path of being encased in a housing. Nobody probably ever thought of that except the guys that made this thing. I mean, if you think about it, inside those aluminum housings with all the nice knobs and buttons and all that kind of stuff is a panel, just like this one. Except they made this one flexible, and it doesn't have to be encased in a housing. You don't have to have that extra weight in volume. And that's what drew my attention to it, and it's why I now own two of them. And when I saw this, it caught my attention because at the display, one of these panels was wrapped around a 1-liter water bottle with rubber bands on it. I thought, what's that? Well, how smart is that? Perfect for running gunners. Okay, and that's why I reviewed it. That's why I bought it. So remember, look to the blog for all the links associated with anything I've mentioned in the video, including my book, if you'd like to buy it. It's like $9.99 on Amazon. It's runandgunvideography.com. So till I find the next thing I'm happy to buy and review, see you later.